Hello, and welcome to another video about the illustrations I've created for my new collection of poetry, Coffee and Papercuts. The collection will be released on Sunday, the 22nd of May, and there are still tickets available to register for to come for the free book launch. If you're anywhere near Wimbledon and you have any interest in a poetry party, please do come and join us. In addition to coming to the free book launch, that you will be able to enter for a poster competition from the illustrations from my 3 books. What you see on the screen right now is an illustration from the newest one, and it is connected to the poem that I quoted on Monday called 100 Hands. 100 Hands kind of envisages that energy and that sense of history we get from anywhere with historical significance that we visit as tourists, as scholars, as anybody who has an interest in historical buildings and museums and such. If you've never been here, this is the Ducal Palace in Venice. And one thing that I really enjoyed about it is that it's a painting in itself just from the photograph. I was really fascinated by the seat of power and the technology of the clock and the paintings and opulence on the ceiling, just showing the wealth of the city. And there was something about being in this seat of power, knowing about how complex Renaissance history is, that was really kind of thrilling, and wondering what all happened here and that sort of thing. It's impossible to get pictures in these kinds of settings without the tourists, but being a tourist myself, I couldn't really complain. So one of the things that you'll notice is the photograph itself gets run through a program. I've talked about this in my previous Wednesday videos about my illustrations, but I use a program that takes my photographs and puts them through an AI program that converts it into a particular painting style. Now, they've got loads of different styles on Deep Art Effects, but you can try different ones on the same photograph and get the right feeling, the right atmosphere you're going for, which I really enjoy, because I cannot paint and I cannot draw, but I do like taking photographs. And so that program has a benefit for me in creating my illustrations, so that everything in my books is my work, is my art. So as you can see, the darker photo or the darker illustration that was made from the photo captures that kind of painting, oil, Renaissance kind of older look to it. And I loved it and I really wanted to keep it, but as I worked with it and as I put it in, it seemed just a little bit too dark. And I really loved the painting style and the art style of it, but I couldn't really keep it that dark and have it have that full effect within the book. And so, like the other illustrations I've talked about, like the other illustrations in the book, I tried out the mosaic style, the stained glass style that I used on the cover of Coffee and Papercuts, which you can see here. Yeah, that stained glass style. Okay. I tried all the different illustrations with the stained glass to see which ones could match the cover and still retain their usefulness with connecting to the work. The stained glass version that you see was still connected to that painting, still connected to that building block idea of 100 Hands, where history of past and present and future all kind of joined together and are built piece by piece, but it wasn't as dark as the painting, the oil style from the darker AI version. So I kept the stained glass one for the collection because it seemed to suit both the idea and the colors and the attempt to kind of lighten it that I was going for. I'll talk to you a little bit more about the stories behind the poem 100 Hands in my Saturday Behind the Poem stories. I'll talk to you a little bit more about my author journey on Friday, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you at my book launch. Now, one of the things that I want to share with you at my book launch is this, the competition for a free copy of my new book. Now, the competition is kind of a sharing My new book, Coffee and Papercuts, is dedicated to everybody that has ever felt imposter syndrome. And I run into this all the time in all the different author circles that I talk about. Everybody has that feeling some days that where they're not really sure that they kind of belong, that they've earned it. And so we all have all creativity, we felt it. So that is part of what I want to encourage in the people who come to my book launch. So the competition for a free copy of my book is for you to write a 20 lines or fewer poem about any of the content I've shared, the quotes, the writing prompts, the images, the journey, anything that you feel inspired by. Write a poem, 20 lines or fewer, and email it to me at LeahTheDreamer@outlook.com by midnight on the 20th so that I can choose who to present their free copy of the book at the book launch. Now, there is also not a competition, but a raffle for posters of the first print of poster illustrations from my books. Now, the one from Coffee and Papercuts is based on Lost, which I talked about last week. The one you see on the screen is from my second book, Chasing Apollo, and is an illustration made from my photograph from inside St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. So everybody who registers for a free ticket to the book launch gets one free entry to the poster competition, the poster raffle, so to speak. There will be additional raffle tickets at the event, which you can purchase if you are interested in getting an extra chance at having one of the posters. But until then, please get writing, please get submitting, and I'd love to give you a free copy of my book if you can come up with a really good 20 lines or fewer poem. The poems, the posters are based on the sunrise of a photograph that I took based on the poem Commute from my first book, Between Hindsight and Foresight, Lost, which is the dark forest that you see on the screen, and the Vatican poster that I just showed you. Those are the available posters, which I will be doing the raffle for. So I hope to see you at the book launch on May 22nd, and enjoy talking about poetry and all of that. So please do join me. Please do share your thoughts and ideas on the things that I'm recording. Bye.